Hi, welcome to Whiskey Catapult, where we catapult around the world trying whiskeys from all over the world. Today, we are catapulting to Scotland for some Nc'Nean. This is a newer distillery, and they're making some really good stuff. So, I figured it'd be fun to talk about them. So, this one is their Quiet Rebels release. This is Annabel. They've done a few of these for some of the founding members of their distillery, and they kind of have different casks and stuff like that. I actually have to look at the packaging for this one to mention that. It includes ex-Tokai barrels, and then the rest are predominantly ex-bourbon. So I thought it sounded pretty neat, and as I said, I've been really enjoying Nc'Nean. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see it there, but hell of a bottle, right? So this one is at 48.5% ABV. It is a batch of 4,504 bottles. I still see it available, so you can still get it, but I think any of their Quiet Rebel releases, I've got two other ones. They're probably going to be good, and you probably just have to look at the different cask influences. I know they've got one that's ex-Sauternes, one that's just ex-bourbon, and they're making really good stuff. So that's nice. It's light, it's fresh, very sweet. Almost has like a ripe pear note to it. A little bit of fruit on there. A little bit of funk too. But ex-Tokai cask is Hungarian wine, if I remember correctly. That's a really nice nose. Mm. That ripe pear comes through really nicely. A little bit of spice. A little bit of bitter oak, just a tad. It kind of balances with the sweetness pretty nicely, so it's not like overwhelming or like a bad note. It's very juicy. Almost has like a little bit of cream in there. Finish is nice. Starts sweet. Fades into this bitter oak just a little bit. And then it's more like a toast note. Like toasted bread toast. Yeah. Didn't phase away with it. So not super long, but not too bad. 48.5% makes sense. So Nc'Nean, I've been a fan of for quite a while. I'm sure I say that about a lot of distilleries that I talk about on this channel, but if I bought the bottle, chances are I'm probably a fan of them. But they released a bottle that really caught my attention back in 2022. It was their Huntress edition. The first time they'd ever did it. It was I believe it was a spring release. Limited run, but they were distilling using 3 different types of yeast strains. And then after aging it for a while, they blend it together to kind of make a different experience. I usually don't hear distilleries talking about the yeast strain that they use or using different types and announcing that they're using different types. So I was curious just from that alone. And so I picked up a bottle, really enjoy it. It was light, it was fruity, and I probably have 5 or 6 other bottles from Nc'Nean at this point because I really enjoyed that one so much. But they keep doing fun stuff. Really nice bottle. I mean, this is all recycled glass. They say it's hand painted, but really, really nice. It's a good one to kind of have on there. So they also say, and this is I don't want to say issue with Nc'Nean, but I'd like to know more, and that may just be me having to go to a distillery or find a YouTube channel where they're like interviewing the master distiller or something like that. But it's a drink it as you wish. Our favorite is a whiskey 6, where it's 2 parts Nc'Nean and 4 parts soda over ice with a mint sprig. And they pretty much say that on every bottle. But I don't know if they're going for just this kind of batchy light whiskey, or if they're planning on doing like a 10-year, a 12-year, doing some age statements, things like that. Haven't seen it yet. I don't know if they're going to go the same path as like what Art Markin is doing with that, where they're just getting to age statements of like 10 and 12, or Kilhoman that's doing the same. I think their oldest release was a 16-year. A lot of the newer distilleries are starting to get into that range, and Nc'Nean is pretty close to that, if not already there as well. So I'm just kind of curious to see where they go from there, but until then, I'm still enjoying their stuff. So it's not a complaint. It's just I'd be curious to see what their kind of vision is for the distillery going forward. Apologies if you hear my neighbors mowing the lawn. Apologies if you hear the lawnmower in the background. Yeah, that nose is really nice. Light fruit. Ripe pear, like right on the money. It's really good. You can still smell that little bitterness in there. Really tasty. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just a bit. Still get that fruit coming in. A little bit of oak spice. The bitterness takes a little while to show up, which is good, because you don't want it to be overpowering. But it just adds that extra layer, and it kind of flows with the sweetness and the bitter throughout the experience. So it's fun. Yeah, this one's good. I like this one. Like I said, they've got other releases named after, from their Quiet Rebel series, named after some of their other founding members and stuff like that they just kind of went to pick out. Their Huntress editions are really good too. And then they've got kind of a regular batch release that I personally have not had yet. I've been a sucker for all their limited editions that I actually haven't gone to try their basic entry level one. But I did just have in my area, they just brought it to the States, to Texas. They actually have a single cask that was picked specifically for the U.S., and it's completely ex-bourbon, cask strength. Very excited to dive into that one soon. But until then, I've really been enjoying this one. Okay, a little bit of water doesn't change it much. I think that ripeness from the fruit's a little bit stronger, but everything else is still there. It's a little bit softer. A little bit, not quite creamier, but it's almost velvety. The texture changed a little bit, but the fruit note's still there. That bitterness is still creeping through a bit. It's not quite as strong without water. Or wait, it's not quite as strong with water. There we go. But yeah, that's tasty. So finishes about the same. So water doesn't do much to it, which probably a good thing, especially if they're suggesting mixing this as with some club soda or something. But yeah, they're making good stuff. So I'm a big fan of theirs. Hopefully if I get out to Scotland again, I'll be able to check out their distillery. They kind of pride themselves of having 100% renewable energy, 100% recycled bottles. So always appreciate that for the environment. I know that's a big thing for them over there too. And I'm here to support it. But ultimately, if they're not making good whiskey, I'm not going to support them for very long. They're making good whiskey, so I'll be supporting them for quite a while. Yeah, this one's really nice. Tokai cask, I know I mentioned it was like a Hungarian wine cask. It's like a desserty type wine, so a lot of sweetness to it, and that really comes through with this one. Yeah, it's a good pick. So, like I said, about 4,500 bottles available for this one. I think you can still find it. I've seen it on some websites here and there, but if you see Nc'Nean, their prices are pretty good. It's very rare that I've seen one over $100. I think this one I got for $70, I want to say. And I've seen them in my local stores for like $60 to $70. I think their entry level one's like $55, $60. and they've got the newest version of the Quiet Rebel series. I want to say it's Gordon, and it's 80 is what my store has it for. So pretty reasonable, especially from a newer distillery. I know some newer distilleries are just like really expensive for, a 3-year-old product, and it's just, for me, it's not worth that. This one doesn't have an age statement on there, but it doesn't taste really young. Like, it feels like they kind of, worked out everything in it. But it's fun. And I like when they do, especially newer distilleries, they do fun cast finishes ones. I know Arnemarkin had a mezcal cask finished Scotch that was probably not one that I would buy for my palate, but really interesting to try. Really cool to kind of see the effect of mezcal cask with, peated Scotch. You think they'd line up pretty well, and they kind of do. But, yeah. Nc'Nean's making good stuff. Plus, nice bottle to keep. Although, it is a dark bottle. It's not black. So, if you hold it up to a light, it's a very dark blue. I don't know. No, you can't see it from here. So you can actually see the fill line, which I appreciate. I have a few bottles like this Pender in here that are fully coated black. Can't see anything in there. So, but yeah. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button and subscribe to see where we catapult off to next. Cheers.